So the last couple of weeks, right, we've looked at layers, kind of like the layers that go into your Power BI report content, right? But where do you put those layers? What happens to them? Where do they go? All right, lads and lasses, welcome along. It's Tuesday. Wanting to talk to you a bit about Power BI Workspaces, right? And really where they start to fit in. This is where you're starting to get into that whole Power BI service piece now. So we've moved on from just looking at Power BI desktop and having, well, I've got my Power BI report and my Power BI desktop. I didn't understand what else I'm supposed to be dealing with it, right? When you publish that content, it's published up into a workspace. And it's important to start to understand really what goes on within a Power BI workspace and how it all fits together. Because it's not quite as simple as you might think. Tell you what, let's get rid of this ugly thing. Let's get rid of my face. We'll crack on with it, eh? Champion. So what we've got in our workspaces is a concept of four things. So we've got data flows as the basic component of it, which are really like ETL scripts is how I'd really recommend thinking of them. Okay, it gives you a nice standardization option if you want to do that, like a data curation layer. ETL, data curation, data prep. Okay. Once you've got your data prepped, you need to build it into data sets. So a data set is a collection of tables that are then structured together. And invariably, you'll have the joins linking those tables together. You'll have a collection of DAX measures within it to actually make it easier for people to use them. And it can be built up of one or more data flows. You don't obviously have to use data flows. You can bypass data flows. You can just pull in one or more different data sources. That data set will then be fed into a report or reports. And a data set can connect to multiple reports. But a report can only connect to a single data set. The report is obviously where your visuals are, isn't it? You know, it's what your readers are going to look into and see and go, oh, wow, I can do this. You can drag and drop and you can make it really configurable for what you need. And then lastly, on top, as we discussed last week, you've got dashboards. So a dashboard can link multiple reports, and by that, just for that, it can obviously link multiple data sets together as well. So you can actually have a real menu system almost in your dashboard. However, you're limited to being able to place tiles, and the size that those tiles can be is kind of limited, 1 block, 2 blocks, 4 blocks kind of thing. That's your basic structure that is a workspace. Now, obviously, workspaces come in two varieties as well, but we'll discuss that next week. So let's have some examples of workspaces. This is like the demo workspace that I've pulled together. And what we can see here is on the left-hand side, we've got our raw data sources. This is like the raw data source. Then we've got the data flow piece, which we've talked about, the data flow and actually how that data comes into being. Then we've got data set content. Yeah. Okay. And where those data sets exist. Then we have report content, and then we have dashboards. And we can see the links between the two. So we can see here, for example, this New York City water tower data set has 2 data flows feeding into it, right? This dashboard here, the 2P Tuesday dashboard, has 3 reports feeding into it from 3 different data sets. So we're able to combine a lot of information, bring that together to that single page. So that can really become the focus of your business, your business intelligent landscape. I want to show you this. This is kind of the New York taxi data set that we built. Now, set the mission up was to do this with data flows and in normal, so without premium capacity, right? And obviously premium capacity, I'd be able to do it probably in one data flow. Without premium capacity, you're tied to a limit, and that means you end up having multiple data flows to produce each data set. But you see, that all works, no problems. It's even absolutely fine. See, it goes on below that screen as well. Okay, so it's carrying on. That's easy. You can do all that. And the last piece we've also got is the idea of having like a data core. So as we've said before, your data flows can be shared. So I would really advocate having this idea of a data core workspace that everyone can access, that's just going to have your core central data that everyone is going to want. So here we've got a calendar. So the core corporate calendar that we've got, it's got a time piece to it as well. It was used in the taxi data set. And we're working on this geography piece. So with transparency, we're pulling that in. We're going to pull more pieces around countries in and actually build up a bit of a library of what a country should be, standardization, rather than other people having to build those if they're doing reports on it. So it's all pretty sensible to do. And over time, I can imagine that a data core will grow. And over time, you will also remove pieces from it. And that's normal. But the idea that you want from this is our core central repository of reference data that we are going to use. So what does that all look like? Yeah, if we plow on into the Power BI service, what does that look like? So here we are, your Power BI homepage. You should get used to seeing this, seeing a lot of it, yeah? What we're going to do is go to the Workspaces and go to our super user community for this one. If we look, we can see this is the default view. So we're in the content view here. So I'm seeing reports and dashboards. Now, if we switch down to the lineage view, we can see the components that go on to make up my workspace data content. See on the left-hand side, we've got the raw data sets going up through the content, and note the areas that are highlighting in blue, they're external content. So let's click now on data core and see what's going on in the core data. So you can see it brings you through to looking at core data, but you can see the lineage view here isn't showing me anything further upstream. Let's cut back and see if that's the same for the data set for the NYC taxis. I've renamed the report that it's linked to airport communities, and we can see there's no reference to it here. So you go, what do you reckon? Right, workspaces, they are part of the service, right? But they are something that people get overly concerned about. And we'll go through a lot more next week when we talk about apps as well, and actually what apps bring to workspaces. And that's really where the whole sharing piece will be discussed. But for now, just using workspaces, what you could see is the lineage view will show you what is downstream of you, but it will not show what is upstream. So if somebody is referencing my calendar, for example, I can't see all the places where it's referenced from my calendar. I think that's a weakness in Power BI, and hopefully Microsoft will plug it, but it's something to be aware of. And that's why it's really important that as your content starts to surface up, that you make it really clear to people who are going to use it, A, to let you know, but also that any changes or any evolutions that you're going to go through with your data set are communicated effectively. Don't forget, like and subscribe down below. Give us your comments. Let us know what's going on. Let us know what you think. Obviously, we've got the membership area now over on geordieintelligence.co.uk. If you become a member, you'll get access to additional content, and we'll start the super user community in the next month. Take care. Ta-da.